Welcome to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Join the podcast mogul Phil Better as he interviews successful entrepreneurs that make their living in the digital world. Now, let's join your host, Phil Better, and his special guest today on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. I am, of course, the podcast mogul, the man, the myth, the legend, Phil Better. And today I have Rahul Bansode on, and he is a digital transformation strategist. So thank you so much for being a guest on the show today.
Thanks, Phil, for having me.
Rahul, I have a bit of a bio over here for you, but I really want to hear it from your words so that my audience can get to know you. Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah. Thanks, Phil, for having me on the show. I am Rahul Bansode. I am a digital transformation architect. I am currently working with a company called Kyocera Document Solution as a digital transformation architect. And within my role, I'm primarily engaged with transforming the organization from a legacy business model to the new digital way. So that's basically what I do for my from a work perspective. Additionally, I am also an author of the book. I just published a book by the title Digital Roadmap, which talks about how and why the organization should move from the legacy business model to the new way of doing their business through the digital channels. So it talks about that. I have almost like 20 years of experience in the IT with respect to application development, software development, database, and all the technical cloud computing, API management. I worked on various things. With that experience on the technical side, I also felt like a lot of organizations are still continuing with their legacy business model, and in order for them to be relevant to their customer in the new digital age, they need to make the journey into the digital world. And I have been studying about this topic for last 5 years. I've been written white papers about it, and then I thought like it is a time for me to write something about it, and that's why I came up with the book. So that's my short.
Awesome. I'm very interested in learning more about the book, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the episode. But you touched on something that I'm curious about. When you talk about legacy, are you talking about them keeping all their manuals, all their procedures and that on paper, or what do you mean by that?
So there are two things over here. When you talk about legacy, see what happened back during the dot-com boom. Everything which was paper moved to the computers. So for example, when you talk about moving to computers, if you recall in the banks, we used to have, if you go to a bank, they used to give you your bank book where all the details of your transactions were there. That moved, the ledger moved online. So nothing changed, just the paper copy became a digital. You can get your statements online. Okay, so that was moving from your paper-based to the digital world. But more or less, the working didn't change much. But if you talk about today, again, like 20 years down the line, I still call that particular, like using that ledger is also a legacy thing. Let me give you another example. All organizations, whenever they do any dealing, there is an invoice being sent out. You purchase something, the vendor is going to send you invoice. Earlier, it was a paper invoice. Now it is a PDF copy. What has changed? Nothing has changed. It's just the PDF copy and the paper which has changed. But nowadays, you're seeing like people are becoming truly moving into the digital world, where these invoices can be generated through like these are purely what is it? I'm lost of word.
Digital.
Purely digital in a sense, whereby it's not a physical PDF copy as such, but it's a message being sent or a data being sent from one application to another, and it gets processed. So that's how digital it is getting to. So that's what I mean by moving your legacy business model to the new digital age. A lot of companies are still doing advertisements through newspaper articles and those kind of things. But now people are slowly and moving towards social media advertisement, which is more effective. So these are some of the things which I call it is to be the digital world. And still there are a lot of companies or organizations who have not embarked their journey onto it. And that's what I call it, the legacy business model and the new digital.
Okay. No, I like that. I like that because for me, legacy, I'm still thinking paper, but I guess I'm older than that. I remember a time before everything was digital, so that's for me legacy. And we are moving, and I realize like I get I can buy stuff on my phone with like Uber, and I get a receipt in my email, and it's
Email.
completely digital. There's no PDF copy, like you said. So now I now see where the legacy was the PDF copy, and now we're moving into the digital where it's just completely fabricated right then and there, and it's no paper copies or anything like that. Um, how did you get into this world? Like, what made you decide, hey, I want to go into, being a strategist? Sorry, a digital transformation architect.
Yeah. So what happened? And this is a story way back, like almost 6 years back. Um, Before that, I was more into the software development. I was doing hardcore development on application, building mobile application, web application, database reporting, and all those technical stuff. But eventually, what I found was like, and I was on LinkedIn. I posted something on LinkedIn. I commented on somebody's post. Okay, and it was related to the word digital transformation, and I had no knowledge of this particular word at all. It was totally alien to me. Very next day, I come on LinkedIn and I see like there are 70 to 80 notifications on my LinkedIn, and I was surprised. Like I I never have seen that 70, 80 notification. I would get one, two, or maybe nothing. But 70, and when I saw it, it was on that post. And then it was about people are talking about that word, digital transformation. And all the people I checked the profile, they were all C-level, CIOs, CTOs, CEOs, CMOs, and all those people. Then it resonated me that I felt that this word has some meaning to it, and I started studying about it. I started reading. I started listening to podcasts. I started listening to YouTube channels for more information. Reading white papers, reading articles about this topic. That got me fascinated, and I understood like what is happening within this world, and that's what I started analyzing it, that whatever I was doing on the digital world, which was the applications, we are now moving into a very different zone where when we talk about digital, you have to actually think about truly digital application, truly digital way of doing this. For example, some of the new organizations which have come up in recent time, like for example, Spotify for music, there's no CDs or anything. Uber, who would have imagined like a taxi industry across the world would be revolutionized by something called as Uber,
Hmm.
right? You have Facebook, which is challenging all the magazines and the marketings and the news media, and you have Twitters, you have fintech banks coming up with very creative products. I'll give you an example. For example, there is a fintech called Akron, okay, which this particular fintech totally works on change. So whatever spare money you have in the transaction, say for example, you did a processing in Walmart for $12.35. The top 65 cents, it says that just give that credit card information to us. We will round up that 65 cents and invest in some shares for you.
Yeah, we have a few of those. We have one actually, Mocha in Canada, that does the exact same thing. Connects to your bank account, so it's both your credit card and your debit card. And I think that's fantastic. It's a great way for people just to start investing because they
Yeah.
forget how little it takes to start investing, and then if you do that over a year, you'll have maybe even a couple $1,000 in there.
I did it. I did it. I started with Akron, and within a year's time or so, I saw that my account was around like $400. I would have
Amazing.
never imagined that kind of money coming to my pocket. But the idea, what I want to say, like you can see, there is a transition going on. There is a transformation going on. Uh, People are coming with new ideas. These were not there 10 years, 15 years back. These are new ideas, new product, new services, which is there, which is fascinating, and that's what fascinated me. And I saw that a lot of organizations are still continuing their old mentality, old methodology, but their customer has moved on. The customer have moved to the new digital way, and if they don't serve their customers in through the new way, they are going to lose their market share. Period. There's no other alternative.
It's
So
true. Someone's going to
that
come in.
fascinates me. Yeah, and that's how I hooked to it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's just a simple post created a new job, a new world for you, and I love hearing that, especially in the digital world, because that's where we're moving.
Yeah,
Like you said, everything's moving digital. Businesses are moving online. The chances of having physical stores in the future may be completely changed, and maybe just warehouses like Amazon and
this building. Yeah.
Walmart will be the stuff that take over. Um, I am curious, with your about 6 years of experience being a digital transformation architect, what is a tip you can give a business if they just want to start going from their legacy, as you call it, to the more digital world? What is a tip that they can do right now that they can start implementing to help them move along?
There are a few tips which I normally say it loud whenever I have an opportunity to talk about it. The first thing is the organization has to make a decision that they have to move into this channel. They have to build their digital portfolio. They have to build their products and services towards the digital. They have to commit to it. Unless and until that commitment is there, you cannot do it. Okay, and I'll give you a few examples about it. Okay, the second thing is this transformation is a company-wide transformation. Okay, it cannot be led by a CIO or a CTO or a CMO. Okay, it has to be led by a CEO of the company because you're transforming the organization. If it is led by any of these departments like a CIO or a CTO or a CMO, all the employees feel that this particular initiative is related to that department itself. But if it is led by a CEO, it's a company-wide and you're transforming your organizations. Okay. The third tip, and this is very important, it has to be led by a CEO, and then it will take it. And I'll give you an example about it. The third thing which I feel is an organization should do their digital maturity analysis. What I mean by is look at their product, look at their services, look at their skill sets, look at their resources, look at their customers, look at the technology stack which they have, look at the applications which they have, and measure whether these are according to the new technology, according to the new technical stack, are they serving their customer in the right way, in the most digital way? So that will give you all the understanding where you lie in your technical landscape, and it will also give you a roadmap with respect to how to go further onto it. So that these are the three things which I feel, which I normally give it to all to whomsoever I speak about it. So you need to first understand that you need to move into this particular zone. The CEO needs to lead, and then the third thing is basically understand your current technology landscape. Let me give you a very good example.
Please.
Everybody knows Microsoft. Period. Yes. If you saw the Microsoft before Satya Nadella, people hated it. People hated it for various reasons. Steve Ballmer was leading at that time. They had a good product, which was Windows XP, which was doing good operating. They had a MS Office product, which was used by everybody. But they didn't have a presence in the mobile market because Android and Apple just took away the shares from there. We know about it. Their deal with Nokia was no good. They were losing the market share. Their laptops, operating systems was not getting sold, and they were going a downfall. Here comes Satya Nadella. Okay, he understood that organization like Microsoft, who is into digital world, who actually enable digital to everybody, is actually in a very, very bad shape, right? So he understood it and he committed to that. Okay, the first thing is the organization committed to it. Okay, second thing, it was led by Satya Nadella, who is the CEO of the Microsoft. Okay, and third thing is he understood the landscape where things are failing, what things are working, what things are not. And what do you see 3 years down the line? You see Azure cloud to be the number one platform for them. It's not Windows or Office, it's the Azure cloud. Okay, all their products starts moving towards the Azure. You have Office 365 coming up, which is with the cloud. You have Xbox connected, you have to the cloud, you have the Windows connected to the cloud. You see the whole ecosystem around cloud being developed, and see now where Microsoft is. They have revamped completely themselves into this digital world, and have come strongly enough right now. So these are the three things which I feel that every organization needs to take care of.
It's amazing, and I love how you used a major corporation that already is technically digital in Microsoft, because they have their hands in all aspects of computer life, coming from the operating system to Internet Explorer. They control pretty much all the vertical integration there, but even they had a problem moving into the more
Yeah,
digital world, which like you said, it needs to be done because we are becoming digital things, and they were losing their market share. So having a case study like this and seeing that in 3 years after implementing the digital mindset of transforming everything into a more digital tool is beneficial, because Microsoft stock is continually skyrocketing from where it was like 6 years ago when it was
yeah,
failing. So that's a great case study to show the importance of moving into a digital, and having the CEO initiate
leading.
that change. Because if this, like you said, if the CEO doesn't do it, the other people will be just like, oh, it's another department, it's not us, it's
Yeah,
that department's handling it. And coming from a corporate world, I can tell you, if we don't get it from the CEO, it doesn't work. It doesn't
yeah.
matter who it is.
And what I've read, and I don't know whether this is true or not, but what I've read with about Microsoft, because whole life I have worked on Microsoft technologies, so that's why
Mhm.
that company is very dear and near to me. I read about it a lot. What I've read about it before Steve Ballmer, when Steve Ballmer was, there was always a fight between the operating system owners department and the Office 360, like who is leading the company, because both these products were leading, or leading cash cows for Microsoft. So
Yeah.
there was always a tussle between these two organizations, and sorry, department. They were organizations in a real sense, but and that is what you see across all major organizations. There's always a tussle within the organization itself, like who is leading, who is the revenue generator. So until unless we clear those boundaries internally, the transformation cannot happen, and it has to be done at an organization level by a CEO. That's what I feel, and I've seen that you see fruits once you do implement that.
Yeah, it's if Microsoft did it from the top down, it's the only way that it really goes, because you have, as long as the CEO is connected to it and pushing for it, you won't see a big change happening, because no one's going to listen to
No
someone
one
else.
is
Like
doing
the department may change, but it won't change the culture overall in
that.
the company if it's not coming from the CEO. I do want to ask you, you've been in this world 5 to 6 years now. Um, you must have had a plethora of memories where you've had fun helping businesses transform themselves into going from legacy into digital, as you call it. What has been maybe one of your favorite moments, or maybe one of your favorite companies that you've worked with to help transform them?
Yeah, so I can give you one example. I'll not name the organization,
No
but
problem.
yeah. So this particular organization was into the B2B business model, so business to business. They have always worked on the working with their dealers for selling the product. Okay, that has been their bread and butter for selling the products. Okay, and it was again a legacy approach which was there for generations. Okay, huge revenue is still continued through that channel. Okay, but slowly and gradually we saw that the retail presence was less. We were not directly connected to the retail customers. Okay, so it was a decision taken by the management that we should do something in the retail space, and that's where that e-commerce strategy came into place for us. And we said, like, what do we do with here? So we decided, okay, let's embark our journey onto the e-commerce platform through Amazon. Okay, let's see if we can get our products on Amazon and start selling, because we felt like building an e-commerce store ourselves could be a very long journey.
Sure.
Okay, plus people are not coming to our website for buying anything. They are going. You find customers on Google. You find customers on e-commerce platforms like Walmart or Staples or on Amazon. So why don't you utilize that platform? So we embark our journey over there. We started very simply with one single product. Okay, we assembled the whole team. We had no knowledge about how to go on to Amazon. We started our journey gradually understanding what it needs to be up to put our product. Slowly and gradually, we understand the whole ecosystem, implemented it, then increase our portfolio of products. Okay, and slowly and gradually, within 7 to 8 months, we had a good standing on Amazon platform, selling the products and reaching good numbers of revenue. This was not expected. This was not expected, but within the 6 to 7 months period, we were actually doing good on that e-commerce, and that business will continue to grow. So that was one of the best moment of my career, I would say, where I was able to create a new delivery channel for the organization, and which is doing good. So
That's
again,
a
it had with the thought process of the CEO who wanted to embark this journey, and then we executed as a full organization contributing towards it. It was not a one department's initiative; it was the full organization's initiative. So
Pardon me. No, I think that that's an amazing achievement to have, that you were given this task of helping grow another revenue channel for this business, and instead of trying to build a store yourself, you're like, look, they already have the infrastructure. Let's go to them, see if it's viable. And then you saw that it was uber successful, and you're like, yeah, let's just leave it here and let them deal with it and get the money residual that way. It's a great method, and it does bring you into a more digital world, having your e-store. So it's very important having that. I do want to ask, you mentioned earlier that some of the challenges that can be faced by businesses when it comes to going from a legacy to going into the digital world. What are some of the challenges that they face?
yeah, this is a nice question, and in fact, all organizations face these challenges. Okay, irrespective of whether big or small. And I give you an example of Microsoft. The reason I always give the example of Microsoft, because it's a very big organization. It's the spearhead of the digital revolution, but still they went through these challenges. Okay, I find like these 5 challenges which every organization will have. The first thing is having a legacy business model. We spoke about it in length on the show, right? Having a legacy business model is one of the things. You have to make sure that you are actually cannibalizing your products. When I say cannibalizing your products, like you are actually killing your product to make way for the new products. Okay, that it's a very difficult challenge, because see, if you have a product which is doing fantastically good in the market, or your service is doing fantastically, no organization will like to kill it.
No.
But there is a phase in life you have to kill it. If you don't kill it, that product is going to kill you. And why I say this, everybody knows Nokia. They were the market leader in the mobile space, right?
They're still technically, to some people, the market leader, even though they haven't produced a phone, but that small little Nokia phone is still legendary.
But here comes, they were not able to change their product, or they were not supposed to were able to kill their product to move into the to the smartphone era. What happened? They were killed. We know the story of Blockbuster.
Oh,
Netflix killed them because of the same thing. If you don't change your legacy business model, that particular product is going to kill you. And that's what I call is cannibalization, your product cannibalization, which is very difficult to do, but you have to do it. I'll give you an example of Microsoft. They killed their Office product and made way to Office 365, and see where Office 365 is now doing business revenue. Every year, iPhone releases new version of phone.
Of the same phone.
Of the phone. They just change the camera here and there, but in a sense, but it's the same phone. But they're killing their old product and moving into they killed iPod for iPhone. So unless you change your products, you cannot move it. So that's one challenge. Team silos. You have departments. As the organization becomes big, there are different departments created, and each department has their own way of doing work. Okay, that is another challenge you'll see, which is to break. So creating that the team silos, breaking that silos is another big challenge. Availability of these skilled resources. When I talk about skilled resources, what I mean is In some organizations, you'll have people with 10, 15, 20 years of experience. The experience is good, but then they have been doing that same work for long period of time, so they cannot think it outside. You required a skilled person who can analyze your digital businesses, you can understand those things and adapt to that. So getting the skilled resources is difficult in this today's age. We know right now getting any new
Any
resources,
work is
any work
difficult
is
for people.
difficult. But getting that skilled resource who understands the technology, who understands what the customer who want, and then work it out is difficult. The the fourth, I would say, is defining your goal. You have to define what you want to achieve as your digital transformation strategy. That is not clear to most of the organization, and it becomes very, very difficult. And last but not the least is changing the culture of the organization, which is impossible in most cases because that's omnipresent. You cannot see it, you cannot feel it, but you know it is there, and it
Yeah.
gets created through your organizations, the way the leadership is, the way the employees are, the way that you have been doing your business, and it's very difficult to change that one. So these are some of the challenges which you need to understand it, adapt it, change it, and to transform your business.
I love it. I love it. And those are some great challenges that most companies face whenever they are trying to evolve and go to the next level. They face these challenges, especially having the skilled workers who are so ingrained into that job that
Yeah,
they only know how to do the job one way. And when you try and bring in something new, those are the people that you need to change over as quickly as possible. Either get them on board with the new way of doing it or just replace them. And yes, the loss of knowledge is and the expertise is hurtful, but it's going to help you grow. Similar to the cannibalization of your products, it's hard to do, but it's important to do. We are coming to the end. I have two more questions to ask you, and then we'll jump into letting you tell us where we can find you. One of my favorite questions to ask is a book that you would suggest entrepreneurs start reading to help them along their journey. I know you have your book, which the next step is asking you about your book, but what is a book that you would suggest entrepreneurs maybe start reading, maybe to learn more about your domain, your niche?
yeah. See, there are a lot of books on the digital transformation. The one which I really like is Brett King's Bank 2.0. Okay, it's more on the financial side of it, but it gives you a very good perspective about how things are changing. Because at the end of the day, every organization has to deal with the bank. So once you understand how these things are changing, that will actually help us a lot. And then there are other books which I'm not able to recall right now, but there are a lot of books which are available, like why the transformation fails. There's one another book, so it talks about how the transformation fails for the organization. So there are a lot of books. I'm not able to recall it right now, but
No
I like
worries.
the Brett King's book. I always go and read them. They have like four different books this guy has. He's a fantastic author, and I read all of them.
Excellent. I do want to touch on yours before we leave because you are an author. You just wrote the digital roadmap. It's any organization that is thinking of adapting digital transformation means their business model is already disrupted. Tell us a little bit about the book and how you came to write it.
Yeah. So what was happened again? Like as I said, like I started my journey 6 years back, and I was publishing white papers. I was talking to people about it. I was in all my work, whatever project I was involved, I was always thinking it from that angle of transforming things. What I felt was I gave few very good ideas to my customers. Okay, unfortunately, they didn't listen to me at that time, and or for various reasons. I won't say that was their fault. For various reasons, first thing was they could not comprehend what I was trying to say to go to the next level, and in some cases, it was already too late for them to adapt to the new things. Okay, and they were already on the downfall path. So so that was the other thing. The other thing was, then this was something within me that that I should do something in space, write about it. And then COVID happened, and COVID pandemic happened. We were in the lockdown, and I wanted to utilize the best part of the COVID being locked down in your house. Okay, and I said, okay, let me challenge myself, come up with something, and see if I can write a book, which was a huge challenge. Never have done anything like this. I don't know many people who have done like this in my presence. I thought, let me take that challenge. Sat down, started writing about it, and thoughts came to me, and I started creating out. And I thought, like, I have a story to tell, and I started writing about it. So that was my journey into writing this book. And whatever knowledge, experience, thoughts, and whatever I wanted to say about it, I said, okay, let me put it on the paper. So and I just started. The best part of, or I don't know whether it is the best, or I can think if only if I write with my hand. I cannot think when I type. I'm talking about
I
digital
have
world.
the same problem.
Though I'm talking about the digital world, but I have, in this case, I have to be a little bit an old fashioned. So I actually took three full scale books from Amazon and actually started writing. So at least this rough sketch I started writing. I I actually wrote on three full scale books, like which were like 100 pages each. So you can just imagine. Close to 15 pens I used for writing. That was awesome. But actually that helped me. That gave me the sketch of the book, what I was trying to, and then I would go back and type it out, which gave me more ideas to write it, and that's how the book came up all around.
Awesome. We're coming to the end. I'm going to jump off screen, Raul. I'm going to give you the full screen. Let my audience know where they can find you, how they can purchase your book if they're interested, if they have a business that's looking to go from legacy to digital before they become obsolete, or even if they're in the digital space, maybe something that they can help. And yeah, and then I'll come back. So the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Phil. I'm the author of the book Digital Roadmap. I've just published this book on Amazon. It is available on Amazon platform across the world. It is available in the ebook and also the paperback. The hardcover book will be launched within a couple of weeks' time. So this particular book talks about why it is important for the organization to move their business model from the legacy approach to the new way of doing business. This book talks about the looking at the business opportunity to move into this digital era. It talks about the resolutions which the leadership needs to take up. It talks about the difference between the digital leaders and the laggards who are falling behind. It talks about how to transform your business, how to build your transformation strategy. In this book, I particularly not given any framework as such, like how to define your digital transformation framework. The reason for that was because every organization is different, every organization products is different, and it is up to the organization, because it's their transformation, they have to come up with the approach about it. So I've given them the area and the thought process and the strategy, how to achieve it, but then forming your framework, forming your pathway, it is the organization. Then I've given a lot of information about how you can build this out. So please grab a copy of Digital Roadmap. It's available on Amazon, and support me. The other thing is, because I had done this out of passion, whatever I'm going to earn out of this book, I'm going to do a charity about it. So all the revenue or royalty which I receive, it will be put to a nice work by donating it out. Thanks a lot.
My God, that's amazing. Not only is he handing you a roadmap on how to go from legacy to digital, he's also donating it all to charity. That is amazing, Raul. I want to thank you so much for being a guest here, and make sure you go check out the book. The links will be in the show notes down below so that you can support Rahul and support the charity that will receive the funds from this. So Rahul, I want to thank you so much for being an amazing guest here on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. Can't thank you enough. I have enjoyed our conversation and learning about digital transformation and what it takes for businesses to do it. And I look forward to following you on LinkedIn and all the other social media. So I want to thank you again for being a guest. And any final words for my my audience?
Thanks a lot, Phil, for having me on. I thoroughly enjoyed this talking to you. Great questions, and I'll definitely do follow you on your podcast to hear about. And to the audience, as I said, thank you for listening. Please do buy the copy of the book and support me. This is a new thing which I have done. I've tried into this new being an author. Putting the label of the word author in front of me, it's a big thing for me. Never tried something like this before. So please do support. Thanks a lot.
Excellent. Everybody, I want to thank you so much for paying attention, listening to this amazing episode, and I wish you all the best. And remember always to invest in yourself. Hey, everybody, I want to thank you so much for watching the show and listening to the podcast. As a thank you, remember, you can always head over to my website, feelbetterinc.com, and get free 15 minutes with me to talk about how you can grow your podcast, how to monetize your podcast, or even how to start your podcast. I have helped lots of people, and I want to help you do the same for your business or just for your personal brand. So again, that is feelbetterinc.com. Head over there, book your free 15 minutes, and it'll be a pleasure to help you out. Have a good night, and remember to invest in yourself.